On April 27, 1521, a man who sought the world's edge met his end in a Philippine village. His voyage had begun with ambition. Now, a single spear would define history. The 15th century was a time of maps and myths. Europeans believed the world was flat, but explorers sought new routes. Gold, spices, and glory drove them forward, toward the unknown. Portugal led the charge. Their caravels sliced through oceans, claiming lands for the crown, but the race for the spice trade was fierce. Spain needed its own legend. Ferdinand and Isabella's heirs backed Ferdinand Magellan's plan. A voyage to the Spice Islands, around the globe. It was madness, but Spain had nothing to lose. Magellan's map showed a route westward. No one had done it before. He promised glory, riches, and a new path to the east. But the journey would test men and empires. The voyage began with hope. But storms, disease, and mutiny nearly sank the fleet. Men died. Ships were lost. Only a handful would survive to see the end. By April 1521, the survivors reached the Philippines. They found islands rich with life, but Magellan's mission was far from over. He had to claim the archipelago for Spain. Magellan arrived in Mactan, demanding tribute. Lapu-Lapu, a local chieftain, refused. The Spanish, armed with swords and muskets, saw it as an insult. But the Filipinos had their own weapons. The battle began. Magellan charged into the fray, but Lapu-Lapu's warriors surrounded him. A spear struck his leg. He fell, bleeding in the mud. His men tried to drag him to safety, but it was too late. The Spanish survivors fled, leaving Magellan behind. His body was dragged to the shore, where the Filipinos buried it. The battle marked the end of Magellan's dream, and the beginning of a new chapter. Magellan killed. His death was a shock to the world. The expedition continued, but without its leader. The Filipinos, though victorious, now faced the full might of Spain's empire. The remaining Spaniards sailed on, determined to complete the journey. But they were few, and the Filipinos had shown them the cost of conquest. The world had changed, and so had Magellan's legacy. Lapu-Lapu's forces had won. The Spanish had lost their commander. For the Filipinos, it was a moment of pride. But the battle was only the beginning of a long struggle with foreign powers. Magellan's journey proved the world was round. His death became a footnote in the story of circumnavigation. But his voyage reshaped maps, trade routes, and empires. European maps now showed the Pacific. The Philippines, once unknown, became a crossroads of cultures. The world was smaller and more interconnected than ever before. Spain did not retreat. It returned, claiming the Philippines as its own. The Battle of Mactan became a symbol of resistance. Filipinos would fight for centuries to reclaim their sovereignty. In 1898, Filipinos declared independence. They remembered Magellan, not as a conqueror, but as a man who died in their land. His death had become a turning point in their history. Today, the Philippines stands as a nation shaped by its past. Magellan's voyage is taught in schools, but so is the story of Lapu-Lapu. History is not just about conquest, it's about survival. Magellan killed. Yet his legacy lives on. Statues of him stand in Manila, but so do monuments to Filipino heroes. The world remembers, not just the explorer, but the people who resisted him. Explore more stories of exploration and resistance. Subscribe for tales that shaped our world.